Hello little folks, welcome and welcome back. I'm Pxy-Gnomes and we are continuing here with this model sheet character design adaptation from 2D to 3D. So here I am struggling with the face details because apparently the body is ready. I think I can reshape the skeleton of the armature object and as well as the body, rescales everything the character has to the new. I've already done this to another retake session, but some time ago. But now I need to readjust to this ultimate. Could be ultimate model sheet. Yeah, probably not gonna be the ultimate of perfectionism, but for this style, certainly this is a huge, I believe, after all my research, this will be a huge improvement, even though the proportions are cool as they are right now, but they're not exactly what I wanted for the character original. So this is why. So right now I'm gonna hide these objects, because all I want to work on here is the model sheets. So there are some few things. So basically what I need to conclude here, I've made many drawings of the face. I'll show it here on the, now that'll take too much time. Okay, so I have to readjust the camera, everything, and the image won't be perfect, but basically I use those notebooks with how do you call that in English? Translate where the, well, I wanted to translate to English, so I don't know why this German thing appears here. Anyways, shift leaf blade, maybe here on this dictionary. Okay, so lined page. Okay, just like that, lined page. Okay, so lined page, that seems to be good enough. All right, so I have the line page notebook where I kept drawing over and over again those and something strange happened. I was figuring out leveling the chin, and whatever. I was doing a lot of experimentation, and eventually it seems that I was doing better. But then when I came back to the actual model here to, let's implement those changes. I verified that apparently what I have here, but in the end, is nearly what I already was getting there. So strangely, I was sort of very inspired when I was making this one. So the ultimate change that I needed to test, basically they pointed out that here this tip of the nose could be actually exactly in the middle. That could be even better for the profile, so that these shapes is not so horizontalized, which is actually bad. This creates some this can create some problems. Then yes, because on one of the drawings what I was doing with some wrong proportions is that the muzzle from the top of the nose to the tip of the nose to the chin, the lowest point of the chin, whether from front view or side view, I would have this too small, and as it gets too small, the only way to get the shape interesting was to make this very horizontalized. Here is nearly okay, but it could be slightly more, and that can be obtained if I just get this. So it's an angle issue, right? This is good actually. It's not like it works for me. It works, but I think after I've checked, this can be even improved slightly more. If I compare the angle, yeah, it's clear that the angle here is very tilted, so very horizontalized, and this is not good. By the fact that this is more verticalized, I can also, it's easier to push the chin forward, which helps maybe to have the, not that this is necessary, but the neck slightly forward. That, not sure if that helps, but then maybe lowering the neck here, so this gap, well, this can be solved by just another different line here. And yes, and but the size here is more or less correct. So if I calculate here, I've already made those calculations, so I have like the grid, yes, this grid, those colors and the boldness, this is, unfortunately, it's extremely confusing. I don't know how it ended like that. I need a new solution for that, but I have already something in mind to, so let's just fix those things right now. I believe I can, instead of retracing all that, I think, so let's go to the draw mode for grease pencil. So I have my, I hope I have my grease pencil selected here. Yes, it is selected. It is selectable, although here it is not. So let's just make sure we can. All right, so that I can. Yeah. Okay, I'm in draw mode here. Okay, so this should be fine. Then I'm on the grid. Everything there. Yeah, basically. Yes, it's. I need the reference here to be checking it. So. This is the side guide. So what I'm not gonna really change what I have already done. I'm just gonna make something that will be visually simpler to identify. So like, so apparently let's make some squares. On a different color. So let's say rectangles, yeah, rectangles. So let's say that this is one head tall, so let's do this. So the one head tall is here. All right, then let's make this bolder. So all right, so yeah, so things are very, it gets clear, right, what it's all about, right? So because otherwise it's just not good enough here. Then half here, what I can do, let's take some other green color like that. Then let's make those halves here. Here I'm not sure what I should be doing. Maybe, yeah, just doing like, now this is not good color. Let's try to, yeah, it doesn't contrast very well. So let's try some red here, but or blue maybe. Yeah, not this blue, but yeah, it's difficult to get the right thing here. Also, I cannot just overlap. That will just create more confusion. So, so what I can do is perhaps, yeah, so let's do one here. It doesn't need to be perfect. Then I get here. It's just so that we know that, yeah, but this is not this is not going on top, so for some reason. So let's get it bolder. No, not working. So okay, so this is making things hard. So let's just make the half here. And another half here. So yeah, so we can get it. And then for the smaller ones, let's get some color like that, and so that these will be the smaller squares. And yeah, there's nothing here, so I don't, it is just some, okay, so at least, and yeah, so here we have a continuation. And then we can even have the, yeah, so then we have these small subdivisions here, and even smaller and smaller. Okay, so I think that's enough for the basic orientation. So let's lock this. So that's all that I wanted here to do. Okay, so this thing got crazy. Let's make this smaller and let's put it right here. All right, let's go back in Blender. All right, so and here, is there some accidentally, yeah, there's some accidentally drawn thing there. So here we go. So in order to remake the head, it is likely that instead of remake, actually I'm gonna make sure I conclude. I'll need a cleanup, so I'm gonna make a, for the side I'm gonna make a strokes tree, which will only be for the head. So maybe in the end I clean up the rest and that becomes just a single layer, but for now it would be sort of a, let's copy this thing and let's call it side strokes tree. So I can hide this. Of course I won't hide it, I'll just start working on this one. Let's compare. Okay, so no use lights here, and the seems fine. So this will be the one that contains all the body, but so I won't need to, I'll be working on top of this and I'll sort of make a cleanup of this, right, of those lines. And as I make this cleanup, I'll be certifying that my calculations, which I'll try to combine data from the information, right? So for some reason, okay, nothing to erase, all right, but we can still draw, so that's fine. We can start drawing. So here the idea will be to merge, to combine the data in the best way possible that I found. And what I can certify is that here, incredibly, in some way, when I was making studies yesterday and today, after I've made these drawings here on sketch, somehow I ended up messing up on my experimentations, like not remembering exactly these proportions, exactly what I've done here, and then I ended up nearly, my final conclusion was that was very similar to this anyway, so it's like I already had got it more like well. And this one is particularly good, but unfortunately it's not perfect. So let's try to fix that. So yesterday I probably already had this fixed here, not fixed, attempted the nose tip to reach here, exactly the half, but in the end it sounded strange, and for some reason I thought it was bad, but now I believe my investigations suggest it is plausible even for the front view. Yeah, this created a lot of problem for the front view. So what I have calculated is that here, if I check those squares, so it's like we see that if you count by these ones, let's try to reach a full square here, right? So I have half of a square, another half, and here will be, so this will be like 2 squares of this side. No, this, yeah, actually, sorry, this square. So this is 1 square of this side, which is 1/4 of the full head. So it's just that it's not this, the tallness of this shape here, the whole muzzle thing. It's not this, is half of that. So it will be, so it's this plus half of this rectangle here, so exactly here. So it is this, and this we can, if I transpose to right now, the whole muzzle is nearly that, but it's slightly less. It needs a little more, that's it. So it's like, here we go, one of the square, then if we go half of the square will be here, but it's 1/4, so it's here. I need to come back and wait. So something is wrong here. Something went wrong. 1 square, and this is okay, the opposite actually, right? I have to verify my, I want 1 square and 7.5. Yes, so I want 1 square and 7.5. So I want, actually I want, sorry folks, that's, I want 1 square, so it will start here, right? Because the chin, I'm counting from the chin up, so it's here, and then 75 is here, so it's half, 0.5, 0.5, right? 0.75. So this is the amount that I want here, and the problem is here I'm having this. No, wait, this is also very wrong. Of course, I got it. So it's here, and okay, so what is going wrong here? The problem is that the guidelines that I have on the paper is not the same. Just getting, sorry folks, that's pretty confused. So let's see. I truly have there. Oh, I see what I might be confusing. So yes, so indeed it's 1 square like that. So it's 1/4 of the on one head tall. So if I have that, then I have extra, not exactly a half of it, but 75% of the half of it. Okay, so that's it. So basically is this point here, right? So basically this is the 1/4 of the head tall. Then instead of having in another a half of the same there, so 50, it's actually 70% of that. So that is why it will reach here, and so not the middle, but not this arbitrary value here, arbitrary position, but exactly there. So this is it. So this is why even with those lines it's getting confusing, but it's easier now to all right. So if I keep, so the idea would be that I get those things in some way that can be calculated. I can draw here directly on the model sheet indeed, so I want, let's try here, right? All right, so that said, let me try to investigate to see how forward that would go. So I think I can push the tip of the nose a little further. Than that. I don't know how much, but this also is something that seems to be important. So I'll try. I don't think that here should be good. I hate that I've rotated the... Alright, let's go back. So the problem is I don't have guidelines for the drawing on the vertical ones on those lined paper page. So that's lined page, so that is very bad for this work. But visually speaking, at least, so it's like we could say it's mirrored. So if I have this going that far, I can say I have this going that far. So let's say if the furthest that I go here would be halfway here, although this seems to be slightly exaggerated, since I'm pushing the nose forward, maybe I should, yeah, so let's attempt this line, and so forward mirrored would be this line. So the tip of the nose will be here, and this will pop upward. This red line I'm ignoring, but yeah, okay, we're going there by accidentally, it doesn't matter. So here will be the new tip of the nose. So I also have calculated that this shape here, the frontermost part of this, which goes further, right, on the front here, this has a specific position, but right now I'll have a little struggle to find exactly. Hold on, let me try to, yes, because I have to transfer, there's no numbers here, so I just know the height. Let's see, so I said 1.75, right? Or 1 1/4. So if I kept or 1, and these things can be subdivided in 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. No, 1 2 3 4. Okay, let's do it visually anyways. This is why ideally I should have gigantic papers with squares and guidelines, all that, with rulers, numbers, but I don't have all these facilities, so this is why this is, unfortunately, we'll have to make it. So I'm not sure, but because of the elevation, we see that there would be some value here, but I didn't pay the attention to there. It was like randomized, or not randomized, but like, oh, I think I didn't pay attention to that value, and now it turned out that it's a very important reference. So I'm gonna try to make it by heart here, and I believe that will be about this. Of course, here we might end up with some trouble. You see, this is interesting. I probably should, yeah, let's continue making. Eventually I'll find out exactly what I wanted there, but for now, since it's difficult to make the transposition, because the guidelines where they were drawn on paper, they don't match. I cannot explain this properly. So, but here I will certainly have a change in the angle. See, slight change, but it's actually, it might be more than that. Then this I can, oh yes, okay, we can say, we can already see that this exactly here could be one of the distinctive, right? Exactly here it will be the so I this is one way that I'm doing to map, right, the points, right? So this helps a lot in this kind of thing. So here, same thing here. It's more of, right, good good way to. Here we see that this seems to not be horrible, and here probably I can even reshape this curve to go, not carving too much here, so, but not making this kind of curve also, so I need to be more subtle here, and then maybe pushing this a little forward slightly. Here I will sort of maintain the same idea, even though here I might have a different reference. So here I can start pushing the jawline just as a guide here, and here the positioning of this shape according to what I have here, it is on the same line of this extrapolation here. So exactly here there would be yeah, here it's a bit confusing, so maybe the jawline we could stylize it curvier like here. So exactly here anyways there would be this, it's not a joint, but it's the point where this shape will, yeah, the how do you call it, the cheekbone of this character design, right? So it's sort of merged with the joint. It's sort actually, it probably, the point might be more front, so it's not exactly there, but it's a curvy circular object, like it can even have a circular mesh topology if we want, but the point is not, the tip is not necessarily here because it's more circular, but it could be somewhere like here, like the pointy. I can even try to mark it, not that it will, yeah, here I can't get it very clear, but let's do something like that, right? Or maybe something like that, I don't know. This seems to be better, so I'm gonna just make this, and so that and then this line apparently for this part here which affects the expression of the eye, it is just skin, so it could follow the same height of the nose tip, the tip of the nose, so it can really go like that. after I can make some adjustment in the 3D model if that doesn't work. Of course, because this thing gets too elevated here, maybe this thing could be tilted like that, so that could be interesting. I haven't read it done, but then if I do that, these details will cause trouble in the front view. And this is because if this thing goes up, which might look cool here, it doesn't look so good here, because if this point is too high, then this becomes like that. And for this character, this angle is very crucial. It cannot be like that. That really, so of course if I elevate this, I can still, if I push it, so let's say I elevate here, okay, this will become like that. But if I elevate it and push it sideways, then I can like keep the same angle, but then the shape becomes so exaggerated to the side that it's bad for the 3D model, right? It really looks weird. So also in the drawing, also, so it cannot go anyhow too far, and it cannot be too, so this is like there's little margin for this, and so this is why the height here must be respected. And right now the height here might be even lower because I'm making changes. So there is, yes, the same position here. In the front here we don't see very much, and I don't have any reference for the front view, unfortunately, so it's hard to tell. But at least from the front we can see where it is. It's not a, it's the center of this small tiny square here. So exactly in the center, in between here. Yeah, so you see very clear. Then for the mouth, according to what I have here, yes, I'll have the same problems here for the calculations, because half. Alright, so it's like I have a, I was counting on these halves, so it will be, if I count this as a unity, anyhow, that will mean that I'll have 4 of these, then 1 more, and then half of them, so like 5.5 of this. Yeah, this is the unity that I can use here. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, correct. Okay, so this is a good unity. So to make the transposition, even if the guides don't match, some of the main guides, I mean, so that makes extremely confusing. But here I found a mapping way, a mapping tactic. So here it's on the second, so it will be here, the second unit. So half of the second unit starts the mouth. So here starts the mouth, and it goes up at the next, so it will be here, and it reach the, so here will be the mouth on this new proposition. Then of course here I can have the lower lip, which doesn't really matter the proportion here, provided if it looks good, that's what I want. And this I know pretty well how to draw, so even here it might not be very good. We can even make some blurry here. Okay, so we looked at, which you can see that it's okay. Then for the upper lip, it's very subtle, we won't see anything here, but then we have this angle here. I cannot certify it's exactly as it is on paper, but I can probably solve that if I now there's little I can do here, and for some reason yes, it certainly it can relate to the how far this goes, so I can probably change those things here. So let's make some changes here and select this. So this is very difficult. Yeah, let's select this. So if I move this back, yeah, I lose some of the reference, but okay, this doesn't change the angle, of course, but then yeah, this is pretty dangerous because it can be destructive. It is destructive, but the idea here would be to try to what was this thing? I don't. No, this is just yeah, some the reference of this mirrored thing which doesn't work anymore. So yeah, so I ended up going back here and here. There's little reference here to where this goes. In principle, I just moved up the tip of the nose, so no, and now this went up. So the heights continue the same. I've just changed some of. Yeah, so now this looks slightly more verticalized, this angle, and this is better, even though the shapes are not, yeah, no, nuts are a bit confusing, but this is the idea is pretty clear of the, it's clear enough about the proportions it needs to have. So here the starting of the mouth is here, and here the end of the mouth. All right, so, and here the, okay, that will help. Here these curves are a bit not clear. This is also easy to fix on the 3D model. Not easy, but it's challenging anyways. So ideally it will be better to fix everything here on the 3D model, but if I get at least the proportions, that, so here how extend does that go, this is not clear. So here I could have the proposition of this line for the tip of the nose, and this line for, right, so this line for this thing, and this line for the tip of the nose. And here maybe, here is not very clear, but maybe this line to how much this goes behind. So this is a bit blurry, maybe it's a little, maybe it's half square, so this is not clear. What would look better? So here I don't have a clear proposition right now, but here let's continue with this shape. And here also another important positioning is how about this shape. So if I check here, this curve is not very simple. There are many things that can go wrong doing that, but here it apparently is just how many here? One-fourth? Yes, one-fourth, so and a little more maybe. Yeah, so exactly about here we'll reach the, maybe in between, but this might be the, yeah, so half, so one of these, so 3 units, right? No, actually 2 units and a half, so if that is 1 unit, so yeah, 1, 2 units and a half, so that would be the line where this will reach the maximum, and exactly here, right, exactly here, can push this back. Good, good, good. So now things are getting better here. Then we see that there are some line here that is going, yeah, how, let's leave it blurry, so because it's unclear what should be best here. It can't carve too much, it will be strange. It needs to have this shape here. Then here it's no, this is another line. This is, no, this is not correct. We don't see, but at least we have this, so that's fine. That's a marking that's understandable. What I can do yet is perhaps, yeah, I could do that, yes. This making things even clearer. All right, so then for the back of the skull, this is also a value that I'll have to revise here. This is anatomically very strange sometimes on these drawings, on this character design, so I need to find out. I have mapped already, yes, it gets some slight protrusion backwards, so maybe it goes to that line and then it carves in. So the tip where it goes furthest away could be, this is where I need to investigate, so I can already, I think 2 squares is fairly good. It probably doesn't need to, if it's too much, it starts to become very bizarre. So here it could be exactly that line, or maybe even below. I was working below more recently. Let's see. So I'm looking here, I have propositions with, here I already have a proposition, right, which equals one of the, which I have, which is like 2/4, half of a head tall, right? So, but so here exactly where it's going, but maybe it can be go even more. No, all my sketches apparently they tend to indicate that or above. So in that sense, this is actually an exact extrapolation downwards. So what I can do to compensate for this is just carve in less, so I get this curve instead of that one. Is start rounder, and then okay, we get it, and there we go. So then the joint of the neck become more natural. So if I want to continue the shape of the head here, that would do something like that, right? This continuation here, so that we mark the joint. It's a bit bad here. Let's make this bad. Okay, this is fine, because if it get this curve, it can be bizarre, right? So it needs to get something like that. So here, then I can probably do the cladomastoid here, but unfortunately this line is exactly in the middle, so never mind, we ignore that. The positioning of the eye, it's extremely important, but let's try to see what we have here. So I had propositions. Yeah, no, this is not particularly important. It's just like this remains on the same height of the eye, so this of the tip of the nose, so this is fine, like here. While the lowest part, maybe it just goes symmetric, so like if this can go one square up, I don't know which is the reference here to symmetry. Yeah, so top, I don't have a parameter. Central line, yeah, I could use that one, but this one is the middle of something, so I'm not sure. Just go by intuition. It is more or less like this. So we have this curve here, which for this is not appear in the model. This is just a reference for the expressions. Then for the eye, this shouldn't change too much. Here maybe I should carve less this thing. Let's see how it is looking. Yeah, it looks fine. Here I can readjust that later. Can be very simple to adjust in the, because we can also adjust the 3D model to fit. Yeah, if some shape doesn't look good in 3D, we just reshape directly in 3D. That's fine, right? So currently this is looking, I think it's looking fine. Here, if this goes too much up and this is not good, there would be a possibility to maybe not making that go this elevated. So let me make a variation line here, right? Just maybe that's good, right? An alternative, maybe even if it's not gonna be used, then okay, the eyes is very important. I have a mapping here for the, where did I draw those indicators? Yes, the problem is that again, when I did what I thought would be the last solution, it had some problems also. It was not perfect. Like there are elements that were perfect, well, ideal on the previous drawing, and others were better on the latest drawing on paper. So that I cannot rely totally on whichever proportions. For example, what was good on the latest drawing that I've done, which I'm trying to reproduce here, is the lower part of the face. So that was good. That's a good solution. And what was bad about it, however, was the upper part of the head. The slightly older drawing was better. And so to try to explain what I was improving, I found a way that if I push the chin up, like half of, yeah, all this up, then I compress this whole structure, the muzzle, up, that will shrink the height of the upper head, and that will make a good thing in for the whole holistic proportions there. But the whole head will be, the head plus this will be shrinked, yes. And then that was working good, but the chin was here, then that will cause miserable problems if I were to readapt this, because this will probably change all the character design. Then I found out, fortunately, that, well, wait, something is weird about the forehead, the top here, and of course it's because this compression compressed this, so the eye, all this, the eyebrow, all this went up, and then if I decompress just this, the top of the skull, right, push everything down, then we reach again this position which we see right here now for the chin. And then so in the end what I did, all that means one thing: I just elevated, I just expanded the muzzle up and down, right? It's extruded, right? It got from here, it went up, so the tip of the nose went up. This compressed a little the eye, but these proportions remain the same as we see here. So in principle, I shouldn't be changing the eye here, but I can, because there is little margin to make change to the eye on this, but in principle this should be good. I think so. This is already working, so it should still be workable. So here I'm already adapting a little the character design to the what I know is relevant to the eyelashes, right, of the 3D model. So there are 3D eyelashes. So this is just, and here I can change, or this is a simplified way. Here it's much easier to find where it's exactly the center of the pupil and of the iris naturally. Then I can get this position here. Yeah, so there's some space here below the eye, so that just must be aware of. Exactly, this doesn't need to reach that, it can be lower, so just a little margin of error. This will be eventually further detailed on the 3D model. So here, same thing for the eye here. It's not clear if the eye should reach that below or it should stay here. Here this is a bit bold, so let's just here, if I should reach more than that, the eyelash will have to look at that in the hold on, I'm checking the old drawing. So 1, 2, and half of here. Yes, it's here. So that's correct. So maybe I should maintain here, and if I want to change that at some point, I expand. But there is a problem in this character design. I just cannot is a problem that I was doing when I was drawing. Sometimes I've made the eye so big that like there were no space for the forehead of the character. So I started improving that in my drawing by just getting more space here, and that was improved overall. So that improved the character design, I believe. That happened because I was paying attention to model sheet and making all this work on 3D adaptation. And here this curve is not looking very good, so let's try to make it yeah, maybe I don't need to respect lines exactly, so let's just try to make what looks good better, right? What looks better in terms of drawing, and not necessarily conforming to the to the guides, whatever it's. If it can conform, good, but otherwise this is a mistake, right? The organic thing cannot conform to every single guide. That will destroy any complex character design, unless there is something very special that can. So here the ear should match this height here. I can try to draw those lines. So here, yes, you can have this reference. Can try to here. This shouldn't go that far actually, so maybe I should stop here. Yeah, so this could be confusing anyway, so it's already a bit confused. So where the eye begins, so this is the ear, sorry, the ear. This is always, I have doubts, I'm not certain. So apparently the top of the eye maybe about here, maybe even lower half of it maybe. So this is more subtle. I think not here, yeah, somewhat here, maybe even here, but that could be bizarre. So I believe it's here. So, and it reaches as far as here, maybe slightly more. Not clear here. So, and here we can follow more or less this. So for the lower part, what I have was using this line here, same that was the old tip of the nose, and now I can probably get it below it. I could try that line here. Yeah, this line, because it merges, it connects with the jaw line, the lower jaw. There's no upper jaw, but for the rig there is upper jaw on this character, because it's cartoon, so we can make an upper jaw that moves. That's useful, folks. I found it out. Okay, so this is interesting. Maybe this could be even lower than this, so not sure. If this is lower, then this could be also lower. So this needs to be, yeah, but here I'm considering the, yes, let's use the middles, right, not the, so yeah, so here I'm not sure, so I'm just gonna make these double lines here. And here we don't see the double lines very well, because, but if the, yeah, it will be messy, so maybe even triple, I'm not sure, but I need to compare with the front view. And right now, folks, this seems to be concluded for the face. Is there any more detail that I'm missing on this? Yeah, probably there are some markers that I'm not taking into account. Maybe here this could be a marker too for this part there. There could be many markers here of interest that I'm missing. But if it's good now, if it's working more or less now, that for reshaping and rescaling the car, that's what matters. These extra details I can try to map them out later, because in a great deal it's also how it will look in the 3D space, right, as a 3D character. So in the adaptation, some shapes might be better for the 3D model, and then hence latest solutions can come out of playing with the mesh itself. Alright, so we can make this thing flatter here, and yeah, here's a bit messy, and this, we won't change too much this, the neck, so it will connect with all the rest. And so this is our side strokes, but not three, actually sides 2 and 2 head. 2h meaning 2 head, so it's just for the head. And we see there are already some changes happening here. Notably, there is there are changes here. We see clearly how the angle tilts, and it's much better in this version, I think. We can also see some, not sure if it's good here, if it's wise, but some slightly change on the forehead. Maybe it is required so it gets more harmonious with that part, I'm not sure. Maybe the ear lowering a little here on the new one, this one, and some change also to the back of the head, which, hold on, seems to be maybe I can make this more harmonious here. This looks like, yeah, it could have a clearer pointier thing here and curvier here instead of, yeah, so here you see this is it's bad that you have some curve here. This is better, I think. So and we don't see this, we won't see this because the character is not bald, and also there's a lot of hair. So that's not a problem. But if she were bald, that will still be okay, I guess. Maybe not in 3D. Okay, but I've checked, it's with the hair it's acceptable. So next, now I'll have to compare with the front view, and the front view I haven't edited, so this will be also a little challenging here, and maybe a little more challenging, right? Just tedious, because I'll have to compare with the split, and we know what that means if you've been following my struggle with those splitted views with the zoom things. I always lose the join area, split. Okay, they are equal, there we go. So I need to adapt now, and I'm gonna use yes, same idea here. I'm gonna create a new lock this one, gonna create so just to remember, I have a strokes one for the front, which was an older one, just as a safe reference, backup reference. But then I've drawn on top of that, and with some change, perhaps small change, I've made this one. And so this is the one that I'm using. So not gonna use this one, and this one will have a new on top of it, which will be same name, but we'll just have the head, and so it will be on top. All the other layers are locked. The guides, yes, let's skip the guides. Let's use the numpad positive to zoom in. 3, 4 4 let's just screencast. So 2 zoom in and 4 numpad 8. There we go. So they are matching here perfectly. I cannot change here because no, I can. Okay, no, there is some amount for some reason. I cannot move this too much, and same here. Right, you see what happens. So I have some margin of developments here to make. So fortunately here it's just the head, it's already drawn. So 4 of this, no, 3, then 1 of this, 1 more, 1, 2 of this. All right, so fortunately I can just work here with this zoom. I think that is, I hope that will be workable. So I won't, the drawings are already made, so I just have to reassess those proportions. Yeah, maybe I'll have to zoom a little more sometimes. I will probably have to, yeah, let's skip this one, but it stays in the middle. Yeah, this can be annoying, but without this it's hard to visualize all the details. So what I could do will be some, maybe I can reduce some of the, yeah, the opacity. The opacities, yeah, this one is not necessary right now. What is this one is not being used. This opacity, no, not this. Yes, this opacity reduced. Okay, so I'll draw on top of this. So basically I'm gonna redraw here, unlocked and visible. So I'm gonna draw on top of this, not use lights. I'm gonna use a different color here, and maybe something more vibrant, and we'll see if we can match everything here properly. So yeah, let's get those guides, the front guides, let's reinforce them, go back here. So here we see there's this line here, matches about here, so, and that will match about there, yes. Here maybe this extrapolates slightly, I'm not sure. This goes down here. We have this line here, exactly this line where, okay, so maybe the eye goes slightly more like here. Then this is like on the half of here. Okay, so it will be somewhere like here, maybe, not sure, but okay, so this is the bottom eyelash, which doesn't really exist in this way on the original 2D drawing, but in the 3D model I created it a bit exaggerated, so it looks fine. It seems necessary for the 3D. It's better, much better. Then so here we can, yeah, so these lines, where does this is very intuitive, so we could push the eye very close. There are distance between in the center, so this is here, it's not very well mapped, and I don't want to augment the zoom right now to work on that. So here the pupil, I'm gonna push it more to the center, but its position is same here, so it starts in the center. Well, there is some some center that I'm getting it more or less. Yeah, I know its height, but I don't know exactly where it should be in relation to the laterally. So something like this should work. So let's centralize here also. Something might be odd about this line here. It shouldn't be going diagonally like that. Here the tip of the nose here is what I'm afraid of. Okay, it seems that... Okay, so it's half of this half. So it's we have this and we have half, and we need to be so half of the half, so it will be here. So this is what I'm afraid, that this won't be looking good on this front view, although I've tested. It should be acceptable, but I'm afraid there could be more contradictions here. So right now this line here, yeah, you see here exactly would be here on that line, so maybe I can just skip this here. This goes up there, so this remains nearly the same angle. Oh, I don't have a mirror here. I need a mirror here. 2h. So 2 and 2h. Yeah. So in this case, duplicate mirror and strokes from 2h. Yeah. So here we go. Not bothering here the naming of the mirrors. We can check what they are doing there. So, well, I could do this actually. Mirror front head, and here front. It's just one layer for each. Alright, so actually let's erase any line that is on the mirrored side, because it's redundant. And here, yeah, we'll have some compensation, I hope, for the elevation of the nose tip, because what happens is that if that becomes like that, then the character starts to become too angular, like too thin face, and so this is a compensation for this elevation. And I could spread it slightly more, but that's a good... Here's already, this is a good, already fine. So, and then here I see what I can do. All right. Let's see this line here. Barely see, but it's on the above this line, so it's more or less like here, so that's fine. And same here, that there's a double solution here, possibility. So either the same of the tip of the nose, which is actually unfortunate, it's a rough approximation there, because I don't see very well. I think you are seeing even worse. So here would be according to the tip of the nose here, but there's this other proposition which is like 1 square lower, and this is very hard to see right now, so I'm just gonna do it like yeah. So yeah, this is confused. So the problem here is that maybe the eye should go lower here, and then I won't have to and the eye here would have a slightly different shape. It's still looking good, but it's yeah, this probably shouldn't be kept like that. And also gluing the eye into the cheek here is not very good, because these lines are just some ideas. The eye also shouldn't go too below the nose, the tip of the nose, because that will be bizarre. So actually this is workable. So as for the mouth, so I have already this idea here, so the mouth exactly in the middle here of this stuff, and then it goes up until reaching straight here, and that that is fine. So yes, that works. Of course the bottom lip, it should nearly reach the lower, so to draw it from this angle it's not very easy, so there's a lot of foreshortening, so it would be something like that. But the mouth there it's what matters really, so this is just graphism. It doesn't really matter here what I do. It's important that the line of the mouth is there, and I think it's clear enough. Then also just to make sure, so I made something about the eye that I've approximated the pupil. I think it's saner, but there could be some mistakes in doing those small changes. Anyways, I keep the older version, so this is like, it's I can still compare, and when modeling I can refix that, choose what looks best. Here I can redraw this position here, slightly more here, maybe more centralized here, then this shape, yeah, going up, and then here turning around. Yeah, that looks good, fine, looks fine here. And then for the side of the head, I'm not bothering drawing that, so I'll just follow, because that was already quite good. So here was one question I was having, where this thing appears from the front view. So apparently it's at the same level of that, curiously, just as this is the same level of this in this position. And then I need to, yes, even in other propositions, this is usually aligned sort of with the top of the, nearly close, a little down, so maybe, anyways, it's this point. Yeah, so this is the maximum of the expansion of the skull to the side. It doesn't respect the circle, right? It expands there, and it could be there, but here it's better apparently. And then we can just curve in with, so there is indeed some gain of volume here for the skull in relation to the original circle, and then it starts to grow to the side until it reaches that point there, and that is this line here that I can, yeah, it's hard to make a star here, but we can see. And then there is some slight extrapolation of the stylistic eyelash, so that seems adequate, totally free to have that. And here the eye, this inclination, maybe we can push it more to the inwards there. Yeah, that might look better. But it's very subtle. Okay, and here here it's a mess. We can have this more carved in here indeed. So this is very blurry, very blurry. I'm not very confident at erasing this thing. I'm a bit lazy by now, because the most important things, wow, that took a while to figure out. I mean, took years to finally reach a proper something more regular, more satisfying, right, from the adaptation. Not that I was doing that every day, of course, but even if I was doing every day, it doesn't mean I would achieve. Sometimes it just takes time, some good stuff to happen. You need to make discoveries, right? Discoveries, it's something that we do not have full control of. It could take forever, but when they happen, if they happen, when they happen, then that's a game changer. If they are, especially if they are good discoveries. So of course, if they are, what is a good discovery? Sometimes you discover something that is bad, but having discovered a bad thing is a game changer too, for the best sometimes. So that is still discoveries. You discover that your theory doesn't work, so great. Dump the theory, change the theory, contest the theory and try to improve it or make a new one. And so that's good, folks. So I think let's hide here. Okay, so despite the change that I've made on the tip of the nose, the idea of compensation here also helped. So it doesn't look too strange. I think that will work. Yes. So there is a possibility that some things could be made better I mean, maybe not radically. I think things are getting in the right place, literally, geometrically speaking, character design speaking, because the real problem is that when I draw, I have a very organic drawing. It's very sketchy, and yeah, I can clean up, of course, but it's not model shitting, right? So whenever I need to attempt a model shit in the reality of model shit, then the ear, forgot the ear. Let's fix the ear here. So and here I messed up, so let's just to make sure, let's try here. Yeah, need to zoom 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 and side view. And so here, let's see. Okay, we see that the idea is not okay, so we need to find out what would be the best here. So the ear here, so you have this line here, too high. Then we have this one here, a bit too low, so it should be probably in the middle, so it's like in the middle right here. And then the ear in this drawing seems to be a bit too close to the head. So as for this part, yeah, so the two propositions here, so it could be here, so or it could be slightly lower. Yeah, I think upper, so it will be like in this one. So yeah, so here I'm not sure that's the right positioning, that it's too blurry here, but I assume that line here. So let's do like that. And if it looks bad in 3D, then just erase. So here there is it can extrapolate a little, that we see there's the extrapolation here. Maybe I can make it just more to the side, since I wasn't satisfied with it with this. And here let's just conclude by, yeah, and here I sort of dislike this angle, but then I can, if it creates from there, yeah, so here is where it then okay, there it's important that there is some gap in here, so that there is that this is not glued into this will look horrible. So this is a good thing. So there's this seems good. And then the lowest part, okay, so there's a change. These curves are not necessarily good in representing how the curve goes. So actually, yeah, this can indeed it can be generated from here on the head connection, but it goes as low and as here, and then that means that this curve would be like that. Yeah, it will be like this. So I'll need to get on this drawing here, the side view, and unfortunately I don't know how to recover the it doesn't recover. It did. Okay, so never mind. So here I will have to get, okay, you know what, let's get a different color and mark that better. So it's halfway here, right? So this halfway is here. So it's here. So it is generated there, right? Let's make the generated points. Okay, so half here, and then it reaches there. Yes. Okay, but unfortunately I cannot. Okay, so never mind. I'm gonna delete all that, and I'm just gonna do this. And if there was if the other proposition was better at some point, I'll figure this out, but this seems to be adequated. And as for this one seems to be the adequated one, so I'm gonna ignore this and ignore this. And yeah, maybe it could, no, yeah, actually it will be nice to be here if that was there. So let's make it this there. Yes, so actually here, and let's erase that. So there you go, the change in real time, right? So the solution is coming as we go. So here that means that we don't want that. And here, where is the, yes, so the tools, workspace, annotations, brushes, Yeah, here we go. So get this change to, where is my, here, get that, and so here instead of this position it will be this position, but it is there. From the front view this looks a bit weird, or not, but maybe this is just because I have to change some shapes here. Not sure. Or maybe this carves in more, could be the case, and so there's more. Alright, so this looks good. Finally, so this line is a bit confusing. Let's lock this one, unlock this one, change to here. Again, get the, it's a helicopter. This is because of the floods in my region and in my town. There are still looking for people maybe that are were stranded in their houses in the middle of the flood. Flood level is in my town, Porto Alegre. It's a city, a big city, like more than 1 million people. They are looking for survivors or people that are, yeah, or they're transporting goods. And now the flood, the things are getting sort of back to normal, but the waters haven't gone to their normal, let's say, if there is a normal level. Yeah, they are still not back to normal, but just are starting to lower to a state where, for example, in the town, in the center of the town, downtown, historical center, we can already see everything that was destroyed, disrupted. Some streets, yeah, so in the delta of the river, Jacqui River, there are 4 big rivers that goes into that delta, and on the delta of the Jacqui River, so there were parts of Porto Alegre, so some towns in those islands, right? Islands, Delta Islands, so they're made on top of sand, right? Of sand dunes and sand sediments, right? Pure sediments that were created by the delta over millions of years, right? So those mini places with population, not a lot of population, fortunately, they were completely flooded and very dangerous. And now that the waters are going down, right, the level, lot of sand was deposited, like more than 1 meter of sand in some of those urban areas, marginal urban areas, right? But that's, imagine your street is like, now it's more than 1 meter of sand that was deposited during the floods. And you see the signals for cars. The sand is nearly covered the signals. I didn't go there personally, but I saw some videos. So folks, here I'm satisfied with the model sheet here, folks. So this stage is finally cleared. Although I didn't make what would be an ideal, how to say, cleanup, right? Yeah, I didn't make the cleanup here, but oh, I could, yeah, I'm not bothering right now, but it will be interesting to use this to make a back view so that I can make a better modeling of the back of the character. That's something that I didn't used to do, but actually it will be a smart idea to do that. So since I have a very good model sheet now, so what I'll probably gonna do that at some point, but this is not the focus that I need to be going here. So at this point, what I need to be looking for is to, yeah, so this will be a new continuation, right? Probably I'm not gonna doing this live in this session here, but I will reassess the meshes here, all of the meshes, right? And other objects related to that. Well, so not custom shapes, but yeah, this old, oh, I have some old reference here. Let's compare some Krita image references here. So it's the front view. I'll barely see because they are yeah, so let's hide the mesh and the armature. Let's just compare. So I have a, so you'll see if there's any, yeah, there's the front and the side, so we can see, that will be very interesting for the face. Yeah, interesting. So interesting exercise, folks. So let's see here. So basically I will have to change the opacity of those things, right? So let's reduce this chat here because it's too much. This part I need to use the outliner. There's nowhere to drop this. I need vision, sorry folks. So I'll get it back in some moment. So here, not messing with the layers, I need the object, I think. Oh, it cannot be selected. Hold on. So what? Where's the reference go? Something. Oh, here. I need to. No, it's not that. Okay, so why I can't select those things? They are not inside this thing. They are loose. Oh, the locked active layer. Oh, I'm on, of course, I was on the draw mode of the grease pencil, so never, so that's why. So now I can select this. So here it is data tab, and so there's opacity. We can turn this opacity, yeah, something like that is fine. Yeah, so these drawings are very blurry. I really like this drawing of the head. It was made on Krita, but the rest is okay, but it's not. So let's see how does that match the rest. So you see that even that works with the right. It can be more angular there, but for some reason, yeah, then it extrapolates. This is a good face, frontal face, and for some reason I need to investigate why it is being good, why it's actually better than what I have here in terms of good looking, character design looking, but it's not necessarily better for 3D modeling. It could be causing some issues for the side view. Well, this side view is not so good actually. And I tried to match the frontal, so something here is very difficult to yeah, so the grease pencil is just, do I have a complete, do I have a opacity for the whole grease pencil thing? No, so I would have to change this opacity, like, well, I can still do that, right? Okay, so what we see here, of course, is that the tip of the nose is lower, much lower, much lower, but the height of the chin is the same. That things go up. Okay, this line is cool, and this works because the tip of the nose is much lower, so there's a it kind of works. And as for the, so see that this is more straight here, it's not necessarily good, and but that's fine. Maybe I've exaggerated too much this curve. At that point, this line, this stroke could be better, more like what I have in the end, so it's more or less, but yeah. Then what about the ear? Much smaller ear than I have here, so there are things that maybe are a bit too grotesque in the new face here, but the position of the mouth, of course it's a different mouth expression, but that might not work in 3D actually, so this is the problem, folks. Then as for the side view, which I think it's more interesting right now to investigate, so okay, so here I had, despite everything, more or less similar angle here, so this is not a bad thing, but then here they're lacking some of the protrusion there that I have here. And as for the eye, yes, I don't have the tilting here, which is stylistically good. The ear is larger, the head is much more, is worse in this drawing. That part is still a bit bizarre, so overall, as for the rest of the body, oh yeah, I didn't check the rest of it, but this I was already checking, so this is not relevant. So it was more about the head. So if I compare here, this, which will be, yeah, about here, yeah, it's sort of, yeah, things are pretty similar, but here we have a lot of, I think my new one is more dynamic, but something about the frontal face is better here. I know it's not just this angle here, it's but I guess there are things here that just cannot be. Why this is not? I need to be on front view to make this comparison here, because this pops up only on the front. It is set as a reference just to pop up as the on side both. Well, I am not sure, but anyways, as soon as I change that, so that's right. So I cannot change the height of the nose. That will, without changing the chin, that will just reduce the height of the muzzle, and that will create problems to the to this part. So here, strangely enough, I was still able to get more or less a good shape despite this reduction. But then, as you see, why then didn't I make the coolest shape here? Maybe because the character design didn't really allowed for, yeah, probably allowed, but then you see there are some deformations that may derive from that. We can't go until the end, but my experience that this length here, this wasn't good enough for the side view, and that might explain why this wasn't as good, because it needs more height. And then if I have more height, then I lose some quality on the front. So impossible character design. So that's probably the case, right? So I could use special 3D technique for 3D animation, as they used in Bell, Japanese long feature film animation, where they use camera keys automorph, something like that. Camera keys, like you have the character, the shape of the face of the character, which is very delicate, will morph, like could be corrective shape keys if it were blended, could be lattice modifier, lattice object, right? That would change the proportions of the face according to the camera angle in relation to the face. This in the 3D model, right, in the mesh. And so, okay, we'll compare that, but I don't need that. I can delete those things. I won't as I've been cleaning up stuff. I'm gonna save this. Wait, before that, let's reappear with the armature, all that thing, and I'm going to save here. This could be, yeah, K L already. Then yeah, model sheet is done, so that's why. And today is 22. Then geometry. So now scale, rescale, right? Rescale geometry skeleton. So this is the next big step here, and this is slightly complicated because there are too many objects. Fortunately, just a tip, something I've learned recently, sometimes if we have a rig with an armature which works with some world spaces on bone constraints, for example, I had, for example, let's look, there's a long time I don't look at the skeleton of this thing. So where is the armature? Here. So wait, where is the bone collections? Okay, it's all hidden, so no problem. So let's say we have some the model sheet should be locked at this point. Alright, yeah, okay, no more selectable. So if I have the yeah, some things are going wrong. I don't know what's going wrong in the, probably some, okay, just some wave painting that might have gone wrong for some reason that I'm not sure. So what if I have some I don't remember anything like that, so I don't know why they occur. Maybe because of that manipulation that I've done lately. I don't know how that occurred, but anyways, doesn't matter. So if I check some bones, let's say for example, yes, I know that the I key, these things have some bone constraints. You see here we have some limit distance bone constraints, and they are set to target on another pose space. Why is that? Originally Well, the purpose of those are actually to maintain certain. Yeah, those are how to. It doesn't matter. They are useful sometimes, and why they are use pose space, because this relates to the space of the armature object. So that means with the object, the armature object axis, which should be, I don't know where it is, but whatever, it's oriented with that, so that is pose space. And if it were world space, something horrible would happen, like if it were like that, because if I rescale the armature, and in this case I will have to rescale the armature to simplify my work, right? If this were still set to world space, these distances will remain in relation to world space, and then the scale of the armature object would change, and even if that's applied, doesn't matter, that would stick those settings as they are in relation to world space, because the world space is never changing, it's absolute. But when this is at pose space, then we can safely rescale the armature object and apply on whatever along the mesh character, and this will retain the proportion with the armature object because of pose space, which relates to the armature object. So access and data, right? Object data of the skeleton, of the whole skeleton, the armature object, therefore. And so this is, and I figured out I have a deep problem with, I figured this out, fortunately, before ahead of time somewhat, because I was importing the whole character to a new scene with a scenery, like starship, whatever, in to test the scales, whatever, and then I needed to rescale the character, and because these were set at workspace, wow, my rig is fucking up, is being totally disrupted because of those bone constraints. Limit distance in that case could be others that might be using workspace, so must be very aware anything that use workspace could probably suffer the same thing. So I didn't know how I would solve that. That seemed a headache, terrible headache. Then oh wait, there's this idea. So I don't know how I came up with it, but that's one reason. And I was wary that, oh, but pose space won't work with in relation to the proportions that I want. But it ended up it does exactly the same thing. So this is pose space instead of world space. Those values are exactly the same. It stays relational inside the armature object. So pretty cool. So that's it, folks. Something that is interesting. So here I think there is nothing else to do. I need to take a break from this, and next I intend to go directly into this rescaling, and then after rescaling I will like to, probably I'll have to readjust some meshes and geometry, right? And then I'll be able to go back to rigging finally. Yes. And there are some revisions to do in this whole character, but yeah, this was crucial. So thanks for watching, folks. Hope to see you soon, and also stay tuned for this week. I'm gonna restart making tutorials, the wiki rigs, like very short economic tutorials about rigging, and I want to do that right after I fix these rescalings. I mean, as soon as I get the rescalings done, I will make some version of this model for the tutorial. I want to address, small spoiler here, some technique regarding the fan bones for simple joints or any joints, but it will be the first tutorial that I will be making on this new approach of wiki rigs. So that's it, folks. Hope that will be a game changer for the channel here and for the Blender community, artists, CG stuff, right? CG people. So see ya, folks. Take care. Happy blending. I think tomorrow I'll be back. See ya, folks.